Hey y'all, so today we're going to do a little experiment. We're going to take two sets of cymbals for a China stack and we're going to compare them. One's going to cost $100, the other is going to cost about $500, and we're going to try to see if we can figure out if the more expensive one is worth the additional price. So first up, we got this stack that's over on my left. These are two Chinas from Wuhan, a 12-inch on the top and a 16-inch underneath. Currently, they would cost about $100 if you were to buy them new as of when I'm recording this. But I've actually had this stack for quite a long time, so I'm very used to the sound of it. And so this is almost my baseline sound going into this experiment. Now, our expensive cymbals today are going to be Zildjians. These are going to be the Oriental Trash Chinas from what they call the FX line. Now, I wanted to keep things, the stack structure, the setup, I wanted that to be similar. So I'm using the same size Chinas on this. So again, that's going to be a 12-inch on the top and a 16-inch underneath. Now, before we start playing on them, just some basic information on these cymbals real quick. The Wuhans, as you can see, they are a hand-hammered style hammering. They have a very traditional finish on them. Wuhans are generally considered to be kind of budget line cymbals. Now, the Oriental cymbals, these are actually kind of a little bit of a unique thing even on the Zildjian side. So the finish is actually very different. These have a brilliant finish as opposed to, like I said, on the Wuhans, they're traditional. But the hammering actually changes based on where you are at in the cymbal. Usually with Zildjian, you have a cymbal that has uniform hammering or random hammering, right? And the random hammering, that's what they do for all the Ks. Well, for the Orientals, it's actually different. On the outside, it's a uniform hammering, like what you would normally see on a standard A. And then on the inner part, it's a random hammering like you would see on a K. Now, Zildjian, they do market this line of Chinas as a bit more trashy compared to other Chinas in their lineup. They also market it as cymbals that should work well as a stack. So we will see how well they actually work as a stack. Also, because the Zildjians do have a brilliant finish as opposed to the traditional, I'm going to expect that the Zildjians are going to have a brighter sound than the Wuhans. Also, because of the difference in the hammering, I'm going to expect that the Zildjians will have a lot more overtones. Now, for our test today, I'm going to be mounting this as a stack off to my left, just like I have with the Wuhans right now. I'm going to be mounting it on this little kind of specialty stacker thing that I've got here. If you're interested in knowing more about this thing, I'll have a link to it in the description below. Now, for each test, we're going to hear 4 different samples or 4 different versions of that thing. So the first one is going to be the Wuhan stack, Wuhan 12-inch and the Wuhan 16-inch. And then we'll hear the Zildjian stack, the Zildjian 12-inch and the Zildjian 16-inch. But then just to make things a little bit more interesting, we will mix and match them together. A quick note on the recording setup for those interested. So I'm going to be running a pair of Earthwork omnidirectional microphones. Those are going to be running into an A-Designs Pacifica preamp. And then no EQ, no compression on those 2 tracks, just some time and phase correction. The snare drum and bass drum tracks, though, will have additional processing. Okay, so my initial thoughts, I felt that the 12-inch Wuhan fit inside of either 16-inch. It fit inside the 16-inch Zildjian and the 16-inch Wuhan better than the Zildjian 12-inch fit. Why does that matter or not matter, depending on your perspective? Well, generally, when I'm playing on the stack, I'm playing on just this outer part here, which is just the 16. So basically all the bulk of the initial sound I'm getting is from the 16. And with the Wuhan on the top, I'm not directly hitting it. But when I had the Zildjian on the top, sometimes I felt like I actually was hitting that 12-inch on purpose or not on purpose. Either way, I was actually hitting that. So that could mean I'm getting a little bit more sound from the 12-inch when I'm using the Zildjian on top. So take that for what you will. Now, like I had kind of anticipated from before, the Wuhans are much, much, much drier than the Zildjians. All right. In other words, the Zildjians have a lot more overtones going on, or at least that's the case on the 16, since that's what I'm primarily playing on for the stack setup. So I guess one way to kind of think of this is the Zildjians have a much more complex sound to it, but maybe more sustained as well. So it might not be as short of a sound. So you might want to weigh those two things when you're thinking about putting together a stack like this yourself. So I hope you guys found that useful. I am putting out more drum related videos all the time. So we're talking about drum gear, recording tips so you can record your drums in your own home studio, lessons, all sorts of good stuff. So if you don't want to miss out, then don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, peace.